Well, I definitely want to kind of ask you a little bit about how you came upon Adrenaline Bodyworks, how this all start.
Okay. Well, first off, thank you for having me. And I look forward to talking to you guys a little bit about Adrenaline Bodyworks and how we started. So it all started when my dad was crazy into training. So I think I've been training since I was about 3 years old.
It's impressive.
Very, especially when he's like 200 push-ups before you can have dinner. And you have to stretch for 15 minutes before you can go to bed. You know, so it's crazy. It's like I grew up in that. So from there, you know, high school started. I remember I loved working out. At that point, now it wasn't so much about martial arts. It was like I wanted to grow muscles. You know, now I'm, you know, at that age where I want the biceps popping. So I was into that. And I remember when I was 16, I said, I'm going to own a gym. And my buddy who just was in here working out, he you know, he reminded me a month ago. He's like, dude, you remember when you said you were going to open a gym? We're like in sophomore year. So I knew I wanted to open a gym since I can remember. But the way I went about it, I never wanted to work for a big company. Maybe it's pride, you know, maybe it's I wanted to, you know, a lot of these big corporations do take a big cut in percentage of what these trainers get. You know, these clients think they're paying $75, $80 to these trainers, and they write checks for $500, and these trainers are getting $100, you know. So I really wanted to care more about my clients, so I was like, no, I'm not working for a big company. So I started actually out of my truck, and I had a Hamid's in-home training, and I'd go to people's houses with my briefcase, and I'd start with there by training people there. And it was cool. It was a little bit difficult because my name wasn't built yet. Now I've been doing this almost 12 years. My name in Lakeland, I have a well reputation for my training. So now if I wanted to go back into some type of in-home training, that'd be great. But so we went from there. After that, I wanted to venture out of there and start going to a gym. So I did find a small studio called Pyramid Profiles. A little old lady, my first gym I trained at, sweet as can be. I had no clients. And I said, I can't pay the $500 a month that she wanted. And she's like, I'll work with you and take a little percentage. I remember having one client making $50 a week. And I mean, it was hard. That's hard times, you know. And
when you're starting out,
especially when you're starting out, and that's when a lot of times people want to give up, you know. And that's an easy time to give up, you know. You just with rent and just everything. Starting a business is not easy, and especially in Lakeland, we have a lot of great trainers, a lot of good gyms. So there's a lot of competition in Lakeland.
Yeah, it's almost like oversaturated, which is why you almost have to kind of find your own angle to
Exactly, it is very saturated. And unlike Tampa, Orlando, St. Pete, where it's okay to be oversaturated, because I feel like it's a little more culture, hip culture in those towns. Here, you really have to be creative to get people in the door. So I was working at a small little gym, a very small massage, therapy, and personal training studio. And it was great for what it was. And I was there for 5-6 years. I ended up moving in to a high performance MMA where he actually trained me for a few MMA fights, and we traded out and let me have some space where I can do some strength and conditioning so I could get a little more of my athletes again. My athletes didn't like the place I was at. It wasn't aggressive enough, which I understand. I'm the same way. I wouldn't want to train there.
They want that more like that, like hardcore.
Hardcore. There was a boxing ring in the corner. That's what they wanted. So I started training there. It was awesome. I got to really push more of the military training, sport-specific training, kids clubs, you know, anti-bully stuff where we do to try and help build up confidence of these kids.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's awesome. And we're really trying to bring that here because I haven't been doing that as much, and I really enjoyed that. Even more than seeing people get results, seeing kids who are confident, who are low confidence, just building their confidence.
Well, of course, you're like
awesome.
Helping set them up for the future. That's so important.
And it was awesome. And really, I didn't take the jump till 2 years ago because it's intimidating.
It's scary,
Yes.
and there's a lot at risk.
Very much so, especially if you already have, I mean, people think, oh, you own a business, it's amazing, it's great, but you have rent already. Another, you have a mortgage, you have electricity, besides the separate rent, electricity of a business. So,
and then in your case, all the equipment that is
of
involved in
course.
stuffing the place up.
That's a whole other story about all this equipment. A lot of gyms, what they do is they, get a loan and they buy. I ate ramen noodles and peanut butter and jelly for 3 months, people.
Sacrifices.
So I could buy all this outright. So I came knowing that I had everything in play, and then it was just about the hustle, about the grind. You got to be out there, you got to be on social media, you got to be hungry. And that's where it went. I finally said, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm going to go for it. I already have a following.
Yeah.
Let's just attack this. And it's been the best thing. I couldn't be happier, and I wish I would have jumped for it 6 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, because I was ready 6 years ago. There was a plateau in my business that I didn't grow for probably about 4 years. I didn't make bad money. I had a good following, good clientele, but there was no growth in my business for like 4 years. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Well, see, they say hindsight's 20/20.
It definitely, I don't know. It was a big jump that is very intimidating, and it was nice. So.
If you could give like one piece of advice to someone starting out their own business for the first time, what would that advice be?
Be ready to fail. Be ready to fail. Be ready to go home and feel like you're going to emotionally break down. There's going to be months that are freaking awesome. Especially getting started, there's going to be no months that are awesome. There's going to be your drive that's going to push you. And like they say, it takes 2 years to build a business. You can go in with any business idea and think, I'll get it going in 6 months. You won't. You might have a good month, but it does take time. And not all people are meant to be entrepreneurs.
That's
you know
true.
what I'm saying?
That's so
Not
true.
all people are meant to do this, and that's okay. But if you want to go after it, and you're a hustler, and you will put your name, stamp your name in a place, then you'll be successful. If you're good at something, you'll make money off it.
That's right.
But you have to go at it hard. During this time with COVID, we got hit, and I don't try and fake it. I tell people. We had a great fall. Our business was doing fantastic. Guess what? It can change quick.
Life happens.
It can change, and you take a day, and you think, and you come hard, and you keep attacking it. And that's the best thing I could give anybody would be, you're gonna have your up and down, you stay at it, you stay consistent, and you will make it.
What would you
100%.
say on those hard days where you're like, man, you were really just thinking about throwing in the towel.
Yeah.
What kept you focused? What kept you motivated?
Something you love. Me, I like punching things. So I hit the bag. I get my gloves on. I go hit the bag. I hit the bag. I'll go for a run. I'll run till I can't breathe, and I get my mind clear. Because when we're in our heads, that's when we start talking to ourselves. That's when we start bringing ourselves down. I like to get out of my head when I'm in that. So in that type of mode, I'm going hard on something. I'm going to go run. I'm going to go sprint. I'm going to hit the bag. I'm going to get back into the zone that brought me to open up this place.
I think thinking about, like reflecting, looking at how far you have come, kind of helps put things into perspective.
But that's another thing is we always want to better ourselves, especially as business owners, entrepreneurs. We're always on the drive, and sometimes, that's perfectly well said, is we forget how well we've done, and you have to remind yourself that. There'll be times I beat myself up, and I'm like, I'm 31.
Yeah,
I own
killing
Adrenaline Body Works. You know what I'm saying? And the growth that we are already pushing out, that we want to succeed. You gotta sometimes keep, not breaking yourself down. And we do tend to do that. We're like, oh, we don't have enough members yet, or oh, we want to make it bigger, or we want to go there. And sometimes you need to slow down.
Yeah, take a look around, smell the roses.
Yeah, man, and be proud of yourself, because this is not an easy thing, owning a business.
Not at
all. Be proud of yourself, for sure. Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
How do you kind of balance? I imagine like owning your own business is pretty stressful. How do you do that work-life balance? Do you incorporate? I know like other entrepreneurs we've spoken with have like this is our life. There is no such thing as work and life.
Well, so trainer's schedule is crazy. You know, I'm up at 4 a.m. every day. I'm here at 5 a.m. My last class I don't end till 7, and we're actually starting wrestling and Thai kickboxing at 7 starting September. So I won't actually be leaving here till 8 o'clock at night every night. So you have long days. And particularly here, my mind's running constantly because we don't do group training to where everyone's doing the same thing. I'm constantly moving, constantly hands-on with these clients, holding mitts, running, changing weights. So for me, it's not so much, I mean, this is my playground. Like I look at people sometimes, I'm like, I don't even know like how I'm working because I love it. Like, but then you got the business aspect that starts playing a role.
And then you remember.
I think for me, it's how do you shut the brain off? And if you don't, it can catch you up to you.
For sure.
So I like to meditate. I go to Yoga Point, a local yoga studio here. I love them. Good people. I have a sauna, so I sit in my sauna a few times a week. A few times a week, and kind of just. But yeah, you know, and I don't work Sundays. And if I do work Saturdays, I come in for open gym. So I make sure to take 2 days off.
Good, you should.
You have to. And even though I might be in here but Saturday and Sunday just doing some stuff, moving some things around the gym, putting new equipment in, taking old equipment out, I'm letting myself have that day and a half, 2 days where I'm not in here training anybody. I think it's very important because...
Well, yeah, you can't be your best self if you don't give yourself time to recharge.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because you eventually... No matter how hard, you'll hit a stump. Oh yeah. And you have to recharge, 100%.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Take a day. Take a day if you can.
Maybe 2.
I'll take 2, yeah.
So kind of going back to, you mentioned, you know, when you first started Adrenaline Bodyworks and like the work it took to build like your personal brand and get your name out there.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit more about that and how you went about doing that.
Well, let's see. So, Adrenaline Bodyworks, first off, we have everything in here from cardiovascular to weight training to ninja training to kickboxing. I like to incorporate everything, like I was telling you a little bit earlier. It's like it was my playground, my business in my head. I was like, what do I love doing? I'm all about everything. I don't like a specific type of training. I don't like just powerlifting. I don't like just cardio. I love doing kickboxing. So it was like Adrenaline Bodyworks kind of came because I was like, this is my playground, you know, like, so that's kind of how it started. I was like, what's a cool name? Like, you know, and you have to think too, I was like 20, so I'm like, adrenaline, you know, I was
you're
like.
Probably like Googling keywords,
oh
like,
my gosh.
Synonyms to gym, synonyms to fitness.
Well, the funny thing is, I was like, I finally found that name, Adrenaline Bodyworks. I was like, ooh, that's pretty cool. And then I look it up, and it's in California. I'm like,
oh, there's always someone.
No,
there's no such thing as an original idea. There's
but
just not.
It was. I know, which I couldn't believe. I was like, how did that? Like someone else think of that? And it wasn't Works with a K. It was Works with an X.
Yeah.
So it was okay. So I was like, boom, LLC.
I was gonna say you got on
immediately. Sunbiz got on there, and you know, really went to town because I was like, it just. The logo is cool. It's a very good. At least to me, and what I've had people who are in marketing have told me,
I think
it's a very good, like I could maybe franchise it soon. I'm hoping, we don't know, you know, but just in the future.
Well, I pulled up and I saw people walking out of here, and like I hadn't been to Adrenaline before, and I don't know anybody that works out here. So at first I was kind of like, oh, I wonder, you know, what kind of business they do. And I walk out and I'd seen people with your T-shirts. I'm like, they got T-shirts. They're doing well. They got people out there repping the brand.
We're trying to rep the brand. A buddy of mine, George Couture. He designed it. He does some design work, and I loved it immediately. The first one, usually you send back some stuff, and he sent it to me. I was like, dude, that's sweet. Like, it has that rugged kind of look, but it's simple.
It's got to represent you and your business. And I think it, like, you know, working in marketing and doing some of that graphic design stuff, if you take enough time to explain this is what you want, this is what I'm looking for, this is about me,
then they can put it out there.
Yeah, they come up with something that's why immediately you're like, that's the one.
Yeah, it was like, I love the heart check. It was simple. Yeah. So I mean, I played that. You know, that's the craziest thing you say that is. It's so hard when opening a business. You think about all the other things, but a name.
A name,
you will sit there for weeks and go crazy on a name and a logo.
Yep. all the other stuff somehow comes naturally.
And
the rest of
it's
it.
wild.
I know, again, kind of going back to like the variety of services and programs that you offer. Something I've noticed with, again, people with that entrepreneurial mindset, you mentioned not everyone can do it.
Yeah.
Everyone that I know has their own business has not just one idea, but a lot of ideas.
Oh.
A lot of ideas.
All day.
They want to do them all at once.
I'll be sitting at dinner. Hey, babe. And she's like, oh, what? Can we just eat? Like, yeah, but don't you think this would be great? She's like, whatever you want to try.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's just a constant thinking, constant mind.
Thinking.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's, again, figuring out what is going to do well based on like the audience that you're trying to attract.
And that's another thing, Journal of Bodyworks is new for it being its own gym. We've been open now a little over 2 years. We won Best to Best Gym in Lakeland last year, which was super cool.
Yeah.
Because we were going against a few commercial gyms, and that just shows we have a really good following. They're really, we really focus on like family oriented. Everyone who comes in here, I don't care if you're an athlete or someone who's trying to walk 5 miles. Like, we're gonna make sure everyone feels the same in here.
It's a sense of community.
Exactly. Like, we're gonna go to your kids' softball game and cheer them on, and that's what I really wanted, And so I think that is what's gonna carry a Journal of Bodyworks to that next level and that next growth. We really do care about each other, everyone here. So
how much would you say word of mouth plays into your success? Huge, right?
Like 90%.
Yeah.
I mean, us being still a smaller business, we're not at a level yet to where we want to spend $7,000-8,000 a month, and I'm sure once you use that kind of marketing, you can grow it. But word of mouth is huge. I mean, and you get some results, you get the whole group in from one person.
And you don't want to do too much too soon because you don't want to not be able to provide the services that
because
you
then they have to go somewhere else. I mean, and you never want that in someone's taste or mouth that you couldn't accept them in,
right.
Or it's nice to have that little bit where it's like, hey, this class is full, you're gonna have to be on a waiting list. It is kind of nice because it makes them be like, oh well, what am I missing out?
A lot of people want to do this,
but you don't want to have that to where you can't take in everybody as well. You want people talking about a Journal of Bodyworks.
Absolutely.
Or about your business per se.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's huge. So kind of going back to like that work-life balance, incorporating family. You mentioned your wife. Sometimes you guys are at dinner, you're sitting and eating, and you're like, hey, I have this idea. Do you how much like as a team do you guys kind of work on this business? Do you guys have anything else on the side that you work on?
That's cool. That's cool questions. I have so I trained her for 3 years before we got together. Yeah, I never do that either, and she stole my heart. And so I trained her for 3 years, and after that, we started dating, and then she's been, super support.
It's rich, so you got to have a support system.
She really has. She's never really put anything I've thrown at the table down. She's just come at smarter than me decisions, like, if you do this, you need to think about it. And I'm like,
that's another common denominator I see in any couple where you got one, or even both where there's entrepreneurs, you got one that's got all the ideas and the energy and excited and go, and you got the other one that's like, hey, slow down.
And then she's the organizer, and she's like, well, let's, and she's been there for me. She knows that, that I have to hustle, and she'll do whatever she can. She'll come in and help me when I'm coming in on a Saturday or Sunday, moving some equipment, and she understands that if I have to study for a course or something that it's what I have to do, and the biggest thing she's there for me, I think, would be like I said, it's mentally exhausted owning a business, and she just supports me when she knows that I'm down, I need my time to meditate and stuff. She's like,
understanding of
she
that.
gets it, and she's just ready to help me grow, and that's why I knew she'd be the one for me.
Got to have someone who gets it.
Yeah, and she works, she does like some commercial real estate.
Cool.
And she works for a great company, Palmetto. And So she does her thing, and when she can, she come here, help. She trains still with me. She works out in one of my group classes.
Cool.
And yeah, she just.
That's great.
Yeah.
So tell me, you mentioned the equipment in here. There's like a funny story behind how you filled the room with all this stuff.
Well, so I just.
Craigslist king.
I am what you would call like addicted to finding deals. Like I'm like the Saturday morning garage sailing, and it's just like a chase. Like you don't know what you're gonna find. Maybe one day I'll find this coin that this guy thought it was worth $5. I have a bottle of wine that's from 1956.
Wow.
Or 1946. It's a George Washington bottle. I got it for $5. I don't know what it's worth, but I think it's worth. Just the bottle, it's like $250. So it's probably, and it's filled still. So I'm all about bargains and finding deals. So I pretty much started buying things. Anytime I found something, I'd buy something, and I'd fill up my whole garage. Again, God bless my woman, because I'd have a whole garage filled with stuff, and she'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I was like, "For the right moment." And so when I opened up the gym, I had half the equipment, and I was like, okay, this equipment's kind of old school, because when I opened up, I wanted this gym to not look like a 28-year-old kid opened it up. I wanted it to look like it could be a franchise. It has, maybe not the newest equipment, but it looks very professional. It looks very nice. It can sell to anybody. So I just started hustling. I told myself, I said, I'm not eating anything besides ramen noodles. And I ate ramen noodles, PB&Js, and I would just go buy everything outright. Anything I could buy that I knew. And it was just time and time. I had an entire gym.
And then you had a collection.
And I had a whole collection, and my people make fun of me because they're like, you're always moving things around, like, because I'm always finding a new piece of equipment, and it's like I can't help it. Like I have no more room for equipment, and I'm like, ooh, I'm on Marketplace. I'm like, that's a pretty good deal. Hey babe, you want to drive to Kissimmee this weekend?
Add to cart.
So I buy equipment, and as you grow, you're like, okay, that was a great piece for the time, but now I am going to spend the money and buy something new, and it's part of the grind. You know what I'm saying? You make what you can work, and you can start with anything, people. You don't have to have the absolute best to start, but you do got to constantly keep growing and get to where you get the best of the stuff.
Absolutely.
Because that's, I think, a lot of things too with owning a business. People don't think they have everything they need. They're like, oh, well, this company has this, or that company's doing that. Like, no, what you have is enough to get started. And as you grow and as you start getting a little bit more, then you start buying new and more. You don't have to
crawl, then you walk.
Exactly, and that's what I tell my clients. I said, stop trying to just, I want to lose 30 pounds this month. No. You want to get in a rhythm. We want to get a few pounds off, build your confidence. Then we introduce the eating, and now you're doing great on your eating and your training. Now we're dropping another 10. You're doing steps. If you
that makes sense. I never thought about the fact, like, being an entrepreneur, you have to have like a lot of the same like dedication, commitment, and focus as you would being
into training. Yeah, I guess so. I didn't even think about that till right now either.
It makes sense.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You have to crawl before you walk, and you have to walk before you run.
Absolutely.
And it's part of the game.
How much of what you do is like trial and error?
Well, for instance, I'm always trying to create new workouts. Like I'm all about, like, a lot of people who in Lakeland know me for is I'm very high intense. I mean, very energetic. I like to like push people. So I like to always come up with some new type of workouts. So I'm always in here trial and error, usually on myself. Because that's also, that's another thing with trainers that we get. There are some of the best trainers in Lakeland, and then you have some just decent trainers, and trainers get bad reps because most trainers are young in the game, and they want results, of course, because we want results. So you get results, you get more clients, and they push, and then their client gets hurt before they even before they even lost 10 pounds. So the try and error is very important. You're not doing it on clients,
that
because
makes a lot of sense.
people really have bad taste in the mouth with trainers. Like, well, I got hurt with this trainer. Well, what was the trainer doing? And you're like, oh, I would not be doing that. You know, and it's because the trainer's newer to the game, or they haven't done enough research, or haven't really, you know, people ask me, like, I'll have 15 people all doing different things, and I'll be like, Kim, what number are you on? 15? She's like, how did you know that? I'm like, John, you're done 2 minutes on the treadmill. It's because you've been in the game. It takes, what's the word I'm looking for, where it really does make a difference of how much effort, how long you've been doing something.
Sure,
so
like the experience that you have doing it.
The experience, it really does make that difference. And so trial and error is good. Just don't do it on your clients.
Just don't do it on your clients. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of
have
liability
to try.
probably in what you do, right? A lot of like legal.
Yeah, there's definitely liability, but you know, and that was another thing. Opening a business scared me until you break it down. I mean, every business has to have liability insurance, and
well, if you're doing it right, like you
happen.
said, hopefully no one's going to get hurt,
and luckily, you know, we haven't had anything like that. But it's even though someone would think it would happen on a squat rack or a deadlift or doing some type of kickboxing,
it's usually not.
It's usually tripping over their foot, and that's when it happens. So it doesn't have to be that you're doing improper form, but when someone gets injured from improper form, you could get injured having proper form.
Right.
Because you haven't stretched, you haven't been hydrated enough, you haven't
push yourself too hard.
How many calorie intake are you stressed? Are you sleeping your 8 hours? How much water are you drinking? You know, it's so much, but that's our goal as a trainer, is to make sure you at least get 50% of what you're supposed to be doing, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you want the perfect client's 100%. You know, give me 90. You know, but we all live in this world. There's stress. You know, you have kids. You have 2 jobs. I mean, and every single client is different. So, you know.
Do you have a lot of clients that ask you for, because obviously, you know, what you're doing are these fitness classes and training them on the fitness, but do you have clients that ask you about like nutrition and what they should be eating?
Yes. So nutrition plays hand to hand.
It has to. It's 100%. Like they say all the time. It's like 90% of. They say somewhere between 75 to 80, but really it's 90%. That's what I tell people. 90% of it is what you eat. How hard you train means nothing compared to what you're going to eat. Yeah. And also, mentality is everything. Anyone on here watching this that is wanting to get into more of training and change their body and something, I cannot tell you enough how much a mental aspect to get results. So if you come in with the attitude that you want to work and you're gonna do good, if I tell a client and say, okay, go over there, give me 10 lat pull down, 50 jump rope, and 10 burpees. The client that says, all right, let's get it. And the client that says, I don't know if I can.
I don't wanna do that.
Yeah.
I see night and day results. I'm not kidding. It really, the mindset of wanting it, not just showing up to do it, makes a difference. Going back to the eating, it's an obvious.
Same thing, yeah.
The problem is people want some secret from me. They're like, Adam, tell me, you don't.
There isn't one.
Here's the deal. You don't eat out.
Yep.
You don't eat anything processed.
You drink water.
You drink your water. You don't eat. I mean, people want me to give them some type of. The truth is, you eat your vegetables. You eat 6, 7, 8 meals a day, small meals, and you drink your water, and you be consistent. You know, we all do it. We're like, oh, we meal prepped, Adam. Tell me this in 2 weeks. You know,
true.
Tell me in 2 weeks. And I'm proud. I'm always trying to encourage my clients. But we do this a lot, and that's the hard part, is as a trainer, and that's the most exhausting part, to be honest with you.
Well, you're the example, right?
I'm the example, and I get frustrated because we do this, and it's a constant battle to how we stay here instead of this, because you can eat good 4 or 5 days, but then you have all of a sudden family vacation for a week.
Yeah.
That throws you off for now 3 weeks.
It's true.
You know, or even bad weekend screwed up the entire last week of your training. So finding that middle ground is my biggest goal with clients. So yes, clients constantly asking me about
what they should be
about what they should be eating.
Like even like for for me and my weight loss, when I lost weight, that's what people always say, oh, well, what did you do? Like, did you try a diet? What were you doing when you went to the gym? I'm like, it's really not rocket science. And when I tell them everything that went into it, well, I was working out 5 days a week, and I did cardio every single day, and I was drinking a gallon of water at least a day, and I did this and this and this. They're like, oh. And they've suddenly lost interest because they think that I have some secret.
Because they want to hear of these diets. That's why these diets work.
How long it took me. When I tell them, it took me a couple of years, th're like, oh, I thought it was recently. No.
But yeah, speaking of that, that's an amazing story that you had with you dropping that much weight. I mean, how much was it that you
70 pounds.
70 pounds.
Yeah.
And how long did it take?
Year and a half.
Exactly.
A little more.
And that's about a normal amount. In fact, did I not say?
Did.
I said, how was it, a year and a half?
A year and a half. I said, it sure was.
That's what it takes. And I'm sure when you were going through this, and a lot of people get so discouraged because they're like 3 pounds in the month. You know why?
Yeah, you can't do that.
You can't be discouraged because it's steps. How many times were you wanting to give up?
Right, and then you talk about the up and down. I mean, like the human body fluctuates in weight anyway. Like you can be like 3 to 5 pounds usually.
But you were consistent,
and I was consistent
for that year and a half.
And I didn't bother weighing myself every day because that was just more discouraging than it was encouraging.
And it'd break you down and to make you not want to continue.
Right,
exactly.
When I first started, I wasn't doing anything right. Like I had health issues that I didn't know I had, and so I had to figure out what was the underlying cause of all of that. And I was frustrated because I was stepping on the scale and I was working out like crazy and nothing. I was gaining weight. I'm like, how is this possible? How's this possible? And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to stop weighing myself. I'm going to stop weighing myself. And then after a while, like the months went by and people were like, man, you look good. How much weight have you lost? I'm like, I have no idea. I don't know.
And then you started stepping on the scale and what started happening?
Yep. And I was like, dang, 15 pounds, dang, 20 pounds, dang, 30 pounds.
And going back to what I was saying about the mental aspect, it goes for the same thing with scale. Most people, when they step on a scale, they are already mentally negative, saying, probably not going to lose a pound. I'm probably not going to be at where I need to be. You're telling yourself that, and you end up not. When you stop caring and you just train, and then you hear a few people, man, you look good. Confidence, feeling good.
Because it can't, like, that can't be your goal. Your goal has to be like, I want to feel good. Like, I want to be healthy. It can't be, I want to lose 30 pounds.
And any trainer that watches this, they will all say the same thing. It's our biggest thing. We're like, throw the scale out, please.
It's not a numbers game. It's really not.
Because I'll have people like, oh my God, I haven't fit in these pants, but I put my scale, and I'm like, who cares?
Who cares?
Like, you look 20 times better. You look amazing.
And inches and pounds are two totally different things.
Yes,
and like muscle weighs so much more than we even think about.
Of course. That's so impressive. And I mean, to be able to continue and pushing yourself a year and a half and being that 70 pounds, that's congratulations on that.
Now the goal is I got to get strong. That's the next
goal. Tell me, are you so happy you never quit?
Oh,
and you
absolutely.
kept pushing to get to where you were.
Absolutely. I'd quit enough times before, and I know how that ended for me.
And that's what my biggest thing I try and talk to my clients is, I promise you, I had a girl in here the other day, literally, she started to break down, crying to me, and it's hard.
It's so hard.
And she said, I want to give up. I said, what do you think that's going to do for you? What is that going to do for you? Honestly, giving up, do you think you'll magically then feel better about yourself? Because that's my biggest thing. I tell everybody when they come in here, I don't care if I change you physically. I want you to leave here emotionally stronger, happier, better, and that's going to change you physically.
It is.
But if you walk in my door and I can tell that you're happier, saying, hey, you're more outgoing, I've done my job. And then naturally you're going to do your job with that. And that's the biggest thing is emotional breakdowns during the time. I said, what do you think? You think you're going to feel it better? Let's keep pushing and you'll get there. And that's the biggest thing I think with trainers, our jobs is. I mean, 99% of people nowadays can go look up amazing workouts online for free.
Pinterest, I have a whole board.
You can go Instagram and see every single crazy workout you've ever can imagine. But of course we teach our proper form and we want to make sure that we don't overtrain the body. We're making sure our clients are stretching. But at the end of the day, we're there to keep them accountable and help them believe in themselves, really.
That's
I mean,
huge.
so I was blown away when you told me that earlier. I was like, I got to bring that up because
Thanks.
she's a testimony right there that it's very easy to give up.
It is.
It's very
the
easy.
Easiest thing in the world.
And it doesn't come in 3 months.
No.
It takes a year and a half. You can't expect that. And I'm just happy to hear that you kept pushing all the way
Oh
through.
yeah, well, my boyfriend who I told you is a trainer. He tells people all the time. He's like, the time's gonna pass anyway.
Yeah.
Regardless of like whether you work now or you work later, in a year from now you can be where you want to be. A year and a half from now,
Where are you gonna be? Exactly. Where are you
the
gonna be?
time's gonna pass, so you may as well try.
Yeah.
While you're waiting, right, to
100%.
look the way you want to look.
100%.
So it's all you're right. It's a mind game, and I think. Again, going back to owning your own business is also a mind game. Like you can probably be your own worst enemy on some days.
I check my blood pressure every day.
So how much money do you spend on average, like a month, on advertising your business?
0.
Really?
I don't spend a penny. And we're very successful without having to spend any money because in this time, not saying it's not great. I think it's amazing. I think that if you can afford it, it's not gonna hurt. But I think there's enough social media, and if you can get creative and per se be raw with your videos, I think people really love that. And I'm pretty raw with my videos. And I like to tag my clients so they can reshare their videos. And I do most of my marketing straight up through social media.
No budget.
And no budget at all. Social media. And I'm very, very social with other people and other businesses. Like I don't go, like I'm telling you right now, when I have checks, I don't do it through my phone. I go talk to the tellers.
Yeah.
When I go pay my insurance, I go to my insurance because I'm chit-chatting with them. They'll, Adam, how you doing? You're like, that little bit out of nowhere now, Ron was talking about he needed a trainer. If I would have done it through my phone, that was opportunities
never
missed.
happened. Sure.
And that's how, it's a little old school. It's definitely old school. And time is money, so you have to find, that middle balance. But I love going to my small little local restaurants. I love going to my small businesses because they are what make Adrenaline Body Works.
Yeah, well, you're supporting other local businesses, and it's kind of a
100%. I can go. I can say, hey, to 10 local businesses in Lakeland, do you mind if I put a poster up? And they're gonna say, heck yeah, Adam, man, come on in.
Here's my business card.
You know what I mean? You try and do that and pay somebody, they're gonna be charged. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's so much you can do for free. It's if you go out there and you stay consistent and you be cool with people.
Yeah, you can't
good
just
with people.
sit in your living room and wait for things to happen.
No, you can't. You just can't do that. If you're going to own a business, you cannot sit around and wait.
Yeah.
Because no one's walking through your door.
No.
Period. You have to do something. And again, if you don't have the money, there's still plenty of ways to do it.
Plenty of options.
Plenty of options. Plenty.
What would you say is the best and worst parts about owning your own business?
I mean, obviously the best, I work for myself. I mean,
it's nice being your own boss.
I haven't worked for anyone in 10 years. You know who I've worked for? My clients, because that's...
Sure, they're your boss.
Yeah, they're your bosses, and you get to make your own schedule as a business owner. No, your schedule is the business. That's it. There is no, But the best thing personally for me is, honestly, no one gets to tell me what to do with how I want to do it, and it's my business. And I love that. And it's that satisfaction. Like I guess because I've always been an entrepreneur. I was selling candy in high school. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, you just always wanted to do
I had
it.
A duffel bag and would sell $100 worth of candy a day, making $500 a week at a high school selling candy. So I was born to be an entrepreneur.
Sure.
So for me, that's the satisfaction, is I am starting to make it. Like I'm doing what I love. And again, not just be an entrepreneur and not working for somebody. I also get to do what I love by just training people and just putting the work in. You know what I'm saying?
You'd probably be spending time doing this every day anyway. Now
exactly.
It's nice 'cause you get to like hang out with clients
It's
and people pay you for what
awesome.
you love to do.
It really is. I'd say that's what I love about it the most is really working for myself.
Yeah, it's yours. And what about the worst parts or the hardest?
The worst is I don't get a weekly paycheck.
Yeah.
I don't have that guaranteed. And when you own a business, and that's something I'm still learning. I'm 31. I'm young in this game.
Absolutely.
And that's, I think, my biggest flaw is I'm like, oh man, we're killing it. But just like that. And that is the worst thing about owning a business is you can never, ever guarantee that same money coming in that next week. You can never get comfortable. That's a better word.
Yeah.
That's a better word. You can't get comfortable. You get comfortable.
Constant grind.
Yeah, it's a constant grind till you made it to a next level. Then it's a different type of constant grind.
Yeah.
Once you made it to the next level, then you have other trainers, you have other stuff, you're doing different level, and now you're at a different level, at a different constant grind.
Yep.
So it's there's never a stopping.
No.
I think that's partly the best because you love the grind as an entrepreneur, but the worst is never knowing consistently
right.
what paycheck you're going to get. You never know. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. 2020, you know what I'm saying?
2020 can happen.
2020 can happen.
How have you managed to stay afloat during this time? I imagine not a lot of people want to leave their homes.
Yeah, Corona.
Yeah.
Corona is no joke. Mm-hmm. I'm sure quite a few businesses are going through exactly what I'm going through. Corona, we took a big hit with Corona. Especially in this industry, it's a gym. A lot of people don't want to, even after being reopened, we were closed 2 months. So we went to, we weren't going to stop grinding. We're going to go to live workouts. I did 2 live workouts every day. I did the workout, so my clients saw me breathing hard. I'm like, all right, guys, because it's live. I couldn't pre-record it, so they saw me live, dying, because and so I did that every single day for 2 months, 2 workouts a day, to stay. Whether we weren't making much money off of it, it was about keeping, and you would know from being in marketing, keeping Adrenaline Bodyworks name in their head. We're training, we're not stopping. Adrenaline Bodyworks is staying alive, and that did keep us afloat, and it was great. It was great to keep the name. Once we reopen, like New Year's, you get the flood of people wanting to come back.
And then it dies out.
2 weeks later, CDC posted something else on Facebook about a huge hit of coronavirus, which is something to be taken serious.
Absolutely.
Like, this is not a joke, coronavirus. But it's scattered, and it's been hard for the past 2 months. But this is when you get tested as a business owner.
Yeah.
This is, as an entrepreneur, what we do.
This is what you prepare for.
You have to. And unfortunately, if you weren't prepared, it could impact you. Maybe, this could put some businesses out. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'll sell my car and ride my bike to here to keep Adrenaline Bodyworks out before we close in this business.
Yeah.
We will grind, and we will not let Corona take us down. We're doing just fine, and we're coming hard. And I'd suggest any business out there to keep grinding and keep doing whatever you got to do, because that business that you're doing is your baby. Mm-hmm. Don't give up on it. And this is definitely a time where it's going to show who really wants it and who doesn't as a business owner.
You're
for
right.
sure. You got to get a second job. You go get that job just to keep your business open.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
We've been doing okay, but we will.
You're gonna
fire
rise above
up.
it.
Yeah, for sure. I have no doubt at all that Adrenaline Bodyworks will keep growing and will keep pushing to get to where I have an image of how I want my business. My vision is big.
I love it.
So
love it.
We ain't gonna let this break us down. But that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, Adam, thank you so much for your time and sharing, the inside, the ins and outs of your business.
Thank you for having me.
Here.
Yeah. I really it was a pleasure being on here, and again, thank you for your time.
Absolutely.